Welcome to Proven and Probable. Today we're going to highlight an early stage exploration company focused on copper, gold, and silver located in the prolific Minto Copper District. Our featured company has seen its share price increase from 3 cents to 10 cents in less than 60 days. They're fully cashed up and ready to begin their 2020 field season. But before we begin, I would appreciate if you click the subscribe button and click the bell. Now, on to today's interview. Joining us for a conversation is Tim Johnson of Granite Creek Copper. Mr. Johnson, welcome to the show, sir.
It's good to be here. Thank you, Maurice.
Glad to have you back. It's been a while. And since that time, Granite Creek has achieved a couple of significant milestones, including a financing and the launch of your 2020 field season, which is going to be the subject of a live webinar this Thursday, and audience members can get the details below in the description box. But before we get into that, Mr. Johnson, give us a basic overview of Granite Creek Copper and the Stu-Copper-Gold Project.
Yeah, so the Stu-Copper-Gold Project was acquired by the company in January of 2019. It was a land package that had been held by a Yukon prospector, and he had, over the years since the 80s, been acquiring claims and assembling this significant land package in a significant copper belt. So we're located in central Yukon. The nearest town is the village of Carmacks. And we're on paved highway from the capital, Whitehorse. Good infrastructure. We've got hydro within 20 kilometers of the property. We've got road access into the center of the property. And we sit just south of the operating Minto mine. And we are north and adjacent to the advanced stage Carmacks deposit.
In terms of progress to date, you've been rather aggressive, I should say, including securing an existing database containing some prior drilling. Is that correct?
Yeah, so shortly after acquiring the property, we were made aware of a private database that had held information that had never been made public. We were able to acquire that. And then subsequently, we also acquired a raw data from an airborne survey that was flown in 2008. And again, that survey had only a portion of it had been made public, and no work had been done on that data. So when you typically fly a geophysics survey, there's all sorts of post-processing work that can be done to help focus your efforts on the ground, and none of that work had been done to date. So it was quite a treasure trove of information that we were able to get and put together.
Allow me to be the first, Mr. Johnson, to congratulate you and the entire team for successfully completing a financing and the beginning of your exploration program. What's the strategy there and the plan? And take us through some of the geology that you're seeing and what that might mean in terms of opportunity for us.
Well, it all references back to that database that we acquired. So the property was drilled in 2008, but the company that drilled it at the time had the entire belt. So what they discovered is that the Minto geology was much easier to figure out. It was more exposed at surface, so that's where they went and focused. So they never really completed their exploration program on what is now the Stu property. They let that property lapse, and it was, like I said, it's been held private since the 80s. There's roughly 5,000 meters of drilling. Only 20% of that core was ever sampled. They only sampled the obvious high-grade material. There is mineralized core on the property that's never been assayed. And what we've since discovered is that they weren't really focused on precious metals. They were using an in-house lab with very high detection limits on the precious metals. So a lot of stuff, say, a sub-gram material wasn't even recognized. So our program this summer is going to focus on re-assaying as much of that core as we can, and using modern lab with modern detection limits. And our hope is that we're going to be able to bring some of those precious metals that we know likely are there, but had been, like I say, previously below detection limit, and bring that into our resource model.
Sorry for the interruption, folks, but I do want to remind you, everything we're covering in today's interview can be located in the description box below, including the details for the live webinar this Thursday. Now, back to the interview. Let's go to the Stu-Copper-Gold Project. In terms of district, it's all there. You've got highway, power access, and an operator to the north. How does that all come together for the benefit of Granite Creek shareholders?
Well, one of the things it does, it gives us really three exit strategies. If we find a modest resource, we'll be able to do a toll milling or potentially some sort of an agreement with our neighbor to the north of an operating mill that we know is underutilized right now. They can take mill feed. If we find a larger resource, then we become a takeover target for them that they would want to secure that resource. And we find a larger resource yet, and then we attract a major player to the belt. And we think that's probably the best value for investors and the highest potential is that we can show the larger players in the copper space the potential for the belt. We think there's multiple billion pounds of copper within the belt from the Carmax deposit to the south of us all the way up to Minto, and that's what we want to prove up.
Now that the financing is complete, please provide us with an update on the capital structure.
Yeah, so we've got 60 million shares outstanding. We've got about 100 million fully diluted, and that fully diluted portion would bring in about $2.5 million in cash should all those warrants be exercised. We have just about $1.5 million in the bank, and we also have on top of that securities of a 30% ownership in Copper North that gives our investors access to or exposure to an existing resource, and we want to build on that resource on our own ground and see what the economics of putting those two resources together is going to look like.
On March 23rd, the share price was 3 cents. Fast forward 60 days later, Mr. Johnson, what is the current share price?
Current share price is 10 cents, and we're pretty pleased with that, and we see upside potential for our share price.
Last question, sir. What did I forget to ask?
You forgot to ask, or maybe I forgot to say, is the nature of our collaborative approach to development within the belt. We keep our neighbors informed of what we're doing, and they keep us informed of what they're doing. Like I said, we think the best strategy here is to attract a large player to the belt, and we're only going to do that if we work together.
I like your response there is pretty conservative. You went from 3 cents to 10 cents in 60 days. Congratulations, sir. Mr. Johnson, for someone listening that wants to get more information on Granite Creek Copper, please share the contact details.
You can get a hold of us at www.gcxcopper.com.
Granite Creek Copper trades on the TSXV symbol GCX. Granite Creek Copper is a sponsor of Proven and Probable, and we are proud shareholders for the virtues conveyed in today's message. Before you make your next bullion purchase, make sure you call me. I'm a licensed representative for Miles Franklin Precious Metals Investments, where we have a number of options to expand your precious metals portfolio, from physical delivery, offshore depositories, and precious metal IRAs. Call me at 855-505-1900, or you may email Maurice@milesfranklin.com. Finally, please subscribe to Proven and Probable for mining insights and bullion sales. Subscription is free.
The information presented on Proven and Probable is provided for educational and informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. The information is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice, or any other advice. You should not make any financial, investment, or trading decision based on any of the information presented without first undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional broker or competent financial advisor.